Welcome to another edition of a Playoff Sports Club here, and I like to just break. I know we're breaking down the NFC this week, me and Billy, but I just want to throw this AFC stat. The Patriots actually set a record. I'm not sure if you or anybody else here is aware, but the Patriots were the
You mean
first.
Tom Brady's, six court touchdowns, right?
Yeah, no, no.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember him playing. No.
Oh, okay.
The Patriots' record this week was they were the first team in the playoffs to ever get two consecutive byes, two back-to-back byes in the playoff round.
Wow.
I was amazed. I was so amazed. I looked at that record and I saw it on ESPN and I was like, that's really good. I don't know what you're talking about. Six touchdowns.
Welcome to another wonderful edition of Sports Club. And Bryce hit you with that wealth of knowledge. That's you can tell your friends. But just be sure to tell them that we told you it. Um, we're going to start with the Saints versus 49ers, who it was a very shocking game. I mean,
Not for me.
most of the nation sat around and said, you know what, the Saints are going to blow the 49ers out. Yeah, that didn't happen.
Not so much.
Uh, 49ers came out and played some, I wouldn't say stout defense, but
Very good defense.
decent defense compared. I mean, they gave up more yardage than they actually earned
hmm
against the Saints, but at the same
it
time,
helps a lot when the other team turns it over five times, I believe.
five turnovers for the
Five
Saints.
turnovers. That helps out a lot.
The Saints are just the fifth team in the Super Bowl era to have three turnovers in the first quarter of a postseason game.
That is not how
None
you
of
win Super Bowls.
None of the previous four teams to do so won the game. 09 Pats, 94 Cowboys, 82 Lions, and the 69 Oilers.
Mm.
Drew Brees, 63 pass
Pass attempts,
pass attempts. It's ridiculous.
ridiculous. I mean, that is just there's no balance there. It's disturbing.
Well, you look at it, 63 pass attempts compared to the leading rusher for the Saints actually only carried the ball 9 times for 40 or 23
I
yards.
don't care how good you are at passing. You gotta have a little balance. I mean, just something to throw the defense off when they keep picking you off and you keep fumbling the ball and you keep giving them presents. You gotta have something else. You gotta throw something else at the defense.
On the other side of it, Breeze did finish the regular season and playoffs with 6,404 passing yards,
Man, that's awesome. Getting a
surpassing
Super Bowl ring.
Marino's 6,085 on the way to the Super Bowl in the 1984 season. Alex Smith, on the other hand, 42 pass attempts, 24 completions, 299 yards, three touchdowns, no picks. It's his first time in his career that his team has won a game where he threw 42 completions or 42 pass
Pass
attempts or more.
attempts.
So 36-32 is the final score. It was a really, really good game.
Vernon Davis looked on 180 receiving yards, two touchdowns, and for the life of me, I don't understand why they didn't get Malcolm Jenkins off of him. In the first half, you saw this matchup, and I noticed it, and I said that's a mismatch. Double team them or switch it up to somebody else. Quarterback Malcolm Jenkins can guard one of the wide receivers. The wide receivers on that team are not that talented.
They're
Vernon
not the Saints wide receivers
no,
by any
no.
stretch of the
Vernon
imagination.
Davis is a freak of nature. You need to double him or put a very talented athlete. And Malcolm Jenkins just didn't look like he had his head in the game. The whole game, he was either getting burnt by a tight end, Vernon Davis, who's a physical specimen, but a D-back should never get burned by a tight end, or he was biting on every single in and out route or hitch and go route that Vernon Davis was running. And Alex Smith, to his credit, was picking those plays up and delivering perfect bombs to him.
Alex Smith actually is looking more and more like a decent quarterback. I'm not going to say good or great because he's nowhere near the Drew Brees or Tom Brady quarterback era right now, but he's getting better and he's starting to actually get comfortable in the offense that they're running right now.
If he wins the Super Bowl, you're gonna have to put Alex Smith in the same realm as Matt Ryan is right now, as one of those quarterbacks that could be the next one to move up into that next level.
Moving on to the Giants and the Packers, another game where a lot of people had the
hmm
Packers, unlike me, or I had the Packers, you had the Giants last week, right?
Vice versa.
No, was it?
I have the Packers.
Hmm. Anyway, Uh, Eli Manning, I almost said Peyton there for a second, 21 of 33 for 330 yards, three touchdowns, a pick. Another 300-yard game for Eli. He's starting to look like Jeremy said in the first show. He's starting to look like he did back in the '07 year.
And that team kind of has the feel that it did back in '07. That they're getting going here at the end of the season. They're putting some wins together. They're beating some quality opponents. They're going on the road in doing this
Mm.
nonetheless. Very, very eerie, similar to the '07 team. So very dangerous. The Giants in a four-game win streak. This D has been stingy. I don't believe they've allowed an offense to have over 400 yards, and that's going up against an offense in Atlanta inside who traded up to get Julio Jones, who's been putting up pretty good numbers there at the end of the season, and then they're going up against a record-setting Packers team in Lambeau Field at their own home and holding him under 400 total yards. That D is becoming very stingy, doing a very good job.
Well, you also have to look at it. The leading rusher for Green Bay ended up being Aaron Rodgers for 66 yards. You can't win when your quarterback's the leading rusher. Okay, aside from Tim Tebow,
He's not a
that,
quarterback.
okay, Aaron Rodgers threw for 24, 46, 264 yards, two touchdowns, a pick. Not an average Aaron Rodgers day.
Arguably one of his worst starts since the Bears game, January 2nd, 2011.
And if you really want to talk about Vernon Davis from the San Francisco 49ers, you have to talk about Akeem Nicks.
Absolutely.
165 yards, two
Just when you think
touchdowns.
Victor Cruz is the person you have to watch out for, he's going to one that victimize you. Akeem Nicks comes out of nowhere. That wide receiver core for the Giants is scary talented,
Yeah.
and Eli Manning can deliver it in there with the best of them.
Green Bay ended up with 4 turnovers, and I do have one stat for you, and it's actually pretty good from the Elias Sports Bureau. The Giants are giant killers in the postseason. In terms of difference of wins during the regular season, the Giants have offered the three biggest wins in NFL postseason history. Giants have defeated three teams that have won at least five more games than they did during the regular season. In fact, they own the two 6-win differential games, not including
Golly.
the Packers were 15-1 and they were 9-7. You're looking at 6 games right there. They I can't remember what their record was in '07, but the Patriots were 16-0.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was a 10-6 season
Mm-hmm.
for Giants. So you're looking at these guys have a track record, and they
If
have.
they get in the playoffs, they're dangerous.
And Tom Coughlin is, as much as everybody was writing him off mid-season, he's not a bad coach, guys. You have to pay attention. Giants actually won the game 37-20. It was not a close game by any stretch of the imagination. Looking ahead now, we're going to hit Giants at the 49ers.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this matchup.
I am too. And I think a lot of people are. I think a lot of people are more excited about the NFC matchup than they are the
Mm-hmm.
AFC. Because, no offense, but Patriots in Baltimore,
That
you're.
story's been written.
Mhm.
We know what that is. They've been Baltimore and New England have been rivals. They have met before in postseason and in regular season. 49ers are kind of a newcomer to the playoffs in this era. Obviously, in the 90s with Steve Young, they were playoff regulars, but here in the 2000s, they're kind of a newcomer. And the Giants are back again to try to get themselves another Super Bowl and to try to establish their team as one of the elite teams in the NFC.
All time against the 49ers in playoff history, the Giants are 3-3. They've actually had pretty good matchups. Most of the losses the 49ers have accrued against them have come recently. Um, 49ers are favored by 3. Do you think that's
I think that's a fair point. The Niners D at home has only allowed one opponent to get over 20 points. Um, Very stingy D. I'm really interested to see who they match up with Vernon Davis. I don't know who they can match up with him. He's like I said earlier. He's a huge, quick guy. I don't know who they're going to match up with him. It can't be a linebacker. It has to be a free safety, or they might put a cornerback on him and chip him with a free safety. I really think the matchup here to watch is can the Giants defensive line, who is doing a tremendous job the past few weekends of getting to the quarterback. They had 4 sacks on Aaron Rodgers last week. Can the Giants defensive line get to Alex Smith enough to disrupt his timing, disrupt his mechanics, and make it hard for him to get the ball to Vernon Davis or even hand the ball off to Al Gore? Knock Al Gore back in the
Al
backfield.
Gore?
Frank Gore. I did that last week too. Why do I keep doing that? That's aggravating. Frank Gore. Disrupt the running game with Frank Gore in the backfield and hit him for a few losses and force Alex Smith to be uncomfortable in the pocket and force him to make big throws.
Another stat, according to Elias, this is just the fourth meeting between two first number one overall draft picks in a postseason game.
That's
So
impressive.
yeah, just the fourth meeting. So it's actually really good. You also have to remember the Giants did play San Francisco earlier in the season
Hmm.
and lost.
Yep, by
It was
7,
at San Francisco. It was 27 to
20.
7,
Yeah,
yeah, or 27 to 20. Sorry.
yeah.
It was a really good game. They lost on a batted down
Hmm.
fourth down attempt.
Very good game.
Um, you have to think this team has got the makeup to do just that, if not more.
Absolutely. San Francisco's defense, who has been historically, or not historically, but seasonally very good. You go up against the 49ers and you think about the rushing D of this year, and then the Giants defense, who has come on late and has looked just, I would say, the best defense right now at getting the quarterback and disrupting the backfield. I think this is more about how the offensive line is going to litigate the defensive line of the 49ers and the Giants to protect that quarterback and to protect their running backs if they choose to run the ball.
Who you got?
I'm gonna have to go with the 49ers on this. 3 points is a little high for me. I would not take the 49ers in the points. I would take the Giants in the points if I was a betting man. But for the win, I will take the 49ers, and I think it's gonna be a point to 2 point win.
I'm going to take the 49ers as well. Quickly switching over to the AFC side. What do you think the big matchup is there?
The big matchup there is Ed Reed versus Tom Brady. Ed Reed, Ray Lewis, they have to slow down Tom Brady. I'm not saying stop him because you can't do that with Wes Welker. Aaron Hernandez apparently runs the ball now. I don't know when that happened. And Gronkowski is just a beast. Ed Reed and Ray Lewis have to slow down Tom Brady and the Pats. And if I hear one more person say the Pats defense looked good last week, I'm gonna punch him right in the face. They played Tim Tebow, guys. A Pop Warner defense could make him look bad. The Steelers were banged up the first. I'm so sick of the Patriots defense saying they looked good last week.
Who you got?
Ridiculous. I'm going with the Ravens.
I've got the Patriots. So and he's got the Ravens, I've got the Patriots, and we both are taking the 49ers. So I'm just taking a 49ers Patriots Super Bowl, and you've got a
Ravens,
you've got a
49ers.
Harbaugh Super Bowl.
I do. That is a defensive struggle Super Bowl with two teams that run the ball well and two teams that have game managing quarterbacks. Uh, Niners and Ravens are almost the same exact team. It's kind of scary.
Last thing, I would be remiss if I did not say this. Tomorrow is Matt Ridgway's birthday, and we had to say happy birthday to you, buddy. Hope you have a good one.
I didn't know that.
Uh-huh. The other thing, and we didn't, and I feel like terrible friends right now.
Yeah.
We didn't even mention Jeremy's birthday. Jeremy's birthday was like 3 weeks
I know
ago.
it. I know. I completely. I texted him. I called him, and I was like, "Happy birthday!" Yeah, but we never mentioned it on the show.
2 or 3 weeks, somewhere around there, right?
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
21 finally, guys. He can drink. He can drink legally.
But happy birthday to both of you guys. We hope you have a wonderful next year. And that's it for this week. We'll see you guys next week. Bryce won't, apparently.
No, I could possibly be
Oh,
gone.
okay.
I don't know. We haven't figured that out yet. I might be here. I might not be here. If I am, it'll be a surprise. It'll be like a ghost.
Well,
I'll be
hope you
like Tim
guys
Tebow's playoff performance last week.
enjoy the championship weekend, and we'll see you next week.